I want to send a special thank you to all my new subscribers. If you have not subscribed, make sure you do so and hit that bell so that way you receive notifications when I upload videos. Okay, so I had planned on releasing several different other videos talking about other different topics, but with what's happening recently, I feel like we need to talk about these mass shootings that have been happening. If you're not aware, we had 4 mass shootings that happened within the last 9 days in the U.S. In the U.S. alone. And in less than 24 hours, we had 2 mass shootings, which should be very alarming. Now, it's still early morning, and I woke up to the notification of us having another mass shooting last night. And I wanted to talk about it. So I'm going to give you guys the stats, and I really want you guys in my comment section, and I want y'all to discuss this issue. Like, what's your thoughts on this? We have to come up with something, and we need to do it fast because this is getting out of control. Okay, so I'm going to start with, let's start with Brooklyn, New York. Now, Brooklyn, New York, it was, I believe it was last Saturday, where they were doing a mass block party. There was a bunch of different concerts. They had foods. They had exhibits that they had out there. And there was a lot of people that drove from across the country to attend this event. And shortly after 11 p.m. in Brooklyn, New York, 2 gunmen opened fire, and they killed 1 person and injured 12 people. That's a huge deal. Now, I don't know if both gunmen were caught or if they were killed. If you do have this information, if you can put it down in the comment section, I am going to look for an update. But this is just information that I was able to pull together this morning. But now let's move on to Gilroy, California. Now, there was a garlic festival that was happening down there, and there was a huge crowd that turned out. You had children from different ages that attended this event. And a man, I don't have the name of this person, but there was a gunman that had evaded security and had cut through a fence, and he killed 4 people and injured between 12 to 15 people. He even killed a 6-year-old boy. I'm gonna include the picture of this little boy. But the gunman was shot and killed by police. So at least that situation was contained. But there was children at a lot of these mass shootings, and it just boggles my mind that we continue to deal with these issues. All of these mass shootings, the gunmen had assault rifles, AK-47s. I can't get past it. All right, so let's move on. We're gonna talk about let's talk about El Paso, Texas. Now, if you guys aren't familiar with that, there was a mass shooting that happened at the Cielo Vista Mall and Walmart. Now, this location is like a shopping center, and people will cross over from Mexico into the U.S., and even people from the U.S. will shop at that shopping center. Now, I assume that people who cross over from Mexico, they have the proper paperwork to be over here, and it's probably because they don't have another shopping center in their area where they are, so they come over the border to shop at this shopping center. It probably is closer to where they live. But so you'll see people with different license plates. You'll have Mexico license plates on there and American license plates in that parking lot. So apparently Patrick Cruci, I believe that's how you say his last name, he's age 21. he had bought an AK-47 without even having a background check done. And he drove over 600 miles from Dallas, Texas, and he killed 20 innocent people. 20 innocent people, and he injured 26 people. All because he wanted to stop the quote-unquote invasion of Mexicans coming over into the US. Now, a lot of people will say that this rhetoric is caused because of President Donald Trump. I would have to agree with that, because the tone of some of the things that President Trump says on his Twitter and even at some of his rallies, it's inciting this type of behavior. It's encouraging division amongst different racial groups. And whether he is intentionally trying to create this type of atmosphere or not, it's being done. Now, one thing I can say is that he did come out about the El Paso, Texas shooting, and he did condemn those actions of Patrick Cruzy. He did talk about how it was a cowardice act of killing innocent people, and I do applaud him for doing that, because you have a base of people that spew racist beliefs and they follow everything that you say. And these people are going out and they're killing innocent people. So for you to speak to your own base of people is important. You have to let them know that it's not okay. But at the same time, if you're putting that type of rhetoric out there and you're filling their heads with this type of fear that people are coming over and invading the United States, you're partially to blame for this. Now, we can have hours worth of conversation about, Donald Trump and the things that he do, or the things that he does, but I'm not going to make this video super long. So we're going to move on to Dayton, Ohio. Now, Dayton, Ohio is the most recent mass shooting that happened overnight. And not a lot of information has came out yet, so I only have a limited information. But there was a suspect. First, this shooting happened at a bar in the Oregon district. It's near downtown Ohio, or Dayton, Ohio. And there was people in the bar at about 1 a.m. A suspect, I don't have the name, but he came in wearing body armor, and he fired inside of the bar, killing 9 people. He killed 9 people and injured 26 people. I'm sure that number could change. Like I said, this was just the most recent mass shooting, so there could be more casualties we're not aware of, but the suspect was shot and killed by police. So this is like insane to me that we are continuing to see all of these mass shootings. 2018 alone, that was the single deadliest year in America, with over 40,000 people shot and killed. We've had these incidents happening for years now. The United States has more guns than any other nation, than any other country, and there's 200 countries in the world. That is mind-boggling to me. Why we have little to no gun control laws here in the United States. Why are we having issues getting this issue under control? You guys are more concerned about the border. You're concerned about immigrants crossing the border, but you have more problems, more mass killings in your own country. But your focus is on who's crossing the border illegally. That makes no sense to me. And the issue that we have lies with the NRA. because these people want to keep their guns. In the last 10 years, they spent $3 billion to block gun reform from being passed in the United States. They spend over $900,000 per day to make sure that we do not get some type of gun control in the United States. They have more than 1 million members that sit in different cabinets. They control the Senate, the state legislators, governors, the presidency, the Supreme Court, all over the country. They control the government pretty much, and this is why we've been having issues trying to pass gun control, because there are people who want to keep their guns. I understand the thought of protecting yourself, but there's gotta be a middle ground where people can still keep their guns, but at the same time we have some type of gun control, because you have people that are walking around killing innocent people. And this is not an Islamic issue. This is a domestic terrorism issue. This is homegrown white male terrorists walking around the United States terrorizing people. This is white supremacists terrorizing people in our own country. So we cannot look at other countries and point the finger at them and say that they're terrorizing the United States when the United States is allowing our own people to terrorize each other. There's white supremacist groups that are out here fueling this type of behavior, but yet the government ignores it. They overlook it and they don't care. And that is a concern to me, because if my government is looking at other countries and they're pointing the finger and they're creating a reason to go over and to involve themselves in war because they say that certain countries are high and prone to terrorism, but yet they ignore their own terrorism in their own backyard, that makes me question how much of an involvement is our government in what is happening on U.S. soil, that they would ignore these groups that are terrorizing innocent people here. You have to work on the issue you have here. You have groups that are openly attacking other races here. You have groups that are openly hanging black and brown people here. But yet you go outside of our country to deal with other countries that have terrorism issues. So how much of this are you involved in? And it makes me wonder, are there people that at the highest level that come together and sit at a table and say, okay, we need to get rid of these groups. And we're going to get rid of these groups by any means necessary. And they conjure up what state is going to have a mass shooting. Like, my mind just thinks about these things, because there's no way in the world that the U.S. does not want to handle this issue. My mind is just blown, and I can't even form sentences based on this, because I'm just in awe at how we continue to have this issue from year to year, and the government literally sits back and does nothing. Politicians sit back and literally does nothing. These mass shootings are killing every different race. There's white people that have been killed. There are Indian people. There are black people that have been killed. There are so many different races of people that attend these events. So I'm in awe about this. And we definitely need to push for more stricter gun control laws. Otherwise, we're going to continue to see these problems happening in our country, and we are going to look more and more like a third world country. This is insane. This is not the US that we are accustomed to seeing, and it's getting worse and worse by the day. We have to do something about this. We have to say no more. I'm scared at how worse this issue is going to get if we don't get it under control quickly. So I'm going to leave this here. You guys, you tell me what your thoughts are. What are your thoughts are on this whole situation? What can we do to force our government to deal with these people, these terrorists on our own soil? What can we do? All right, you guys, I'll see you guys in the next video.